Oh my God, one stream, I'm going to remember to unmute myself.
Oh my
It will
God.
happen.
One
It
day.
will happen.
One day, one stream, I'm going to.
What was that echo about? What was that echo about? Oh my gosh. Terrible. Anyway, I'm here. I'm going to repeat myself for the past 5 minutes. Thanks, Tony. Appreciated. And next week, I promise to keep myself off mute the entire time. Just always be mic on. You might hear some things that you don't want to hear before the stream starts. Who cares? I will be unmuted the entire time. So I'm now 41 minutes behind. That's fine. That's fine. It's been an interesting 60 minutes. Internet went down. Had to scramble to think, can I do a stream on a ropey 4G connection? Probably not. Probably not. And then I remembered what I want to build with you all today, which is a guestbook. I need to have a database connection. And I was like, should probably set up a database beforehand so you don't see my database connection string, don't want you to see my password. And that's when everything started going wrong. The connection just completely stopped working. It's like, oh, error message, error message, because I kept putting in the wrong password and then the wrong connection string. And the only way to test it completely working is to write some code, the code that I want to show you today. But that's fine. What I'm going to do instead is talk over these 9 file changes that I have made in the past 60 minutes, trying to scramble to get this up and running. So I'm currently on the header branch, because last week we created a header branch with some basic navigation. So we made a responsive navigation. So mobile navigation looks like this. On bigger screens, to make this bigger. On tablet and beyond, we have our traditional navigation. Everything is in one row. Today we are going to be working on the guestbook, and I'm going to be branching off our header branch that we created last week because I haven't finished the header, but it has got the most bit of functionality on it. So I'll just branch off that. And in fact, let me do it right now. Today we're going to be making the guestbook, so let's call our branch guestbook. Keep it simple. So when I was testing if the database was up and running, I apparently changed 9 files. So let's see what changes I did actually make. What we got? So let's start from all the way to the back, so database upwards. I created a util, which has got all my database connection inside of it. It is just basic config, and it's just so I can connect to my mongoDB database. And I'm using Mongo Atlas, by the way, if anyone wants to know what version of Mongo I'm using. I'm not hosting it myself, it's an Atlas. We are fans of the cloud around here. So here's my DB connect function. Then I created a model, so a schema for my guestbook. It's going to be really simple. Move VS Code off the screen, close to the... I am not showing you my environment variables. That is fine, Tony. I am not showing you that. That is what caused me this problem and delayed me by 1 hour to make sure that I don't show it to you. But don't worry, I will be careful. So in my guestbook schema, it's going to be really simple. We're going to have a name, so your name that you're going to enter, and the message that you want to leave in my guestbook. And both types are going to be a string, and they are both required. The database says that you must enter them if you want to add something to my guestbook. And I'm going to eventually have multiple things in the database. So we've got a guestbook schema, and then in the index, at the moment it's just a guestbook, but once we start adding more things, more models, we will have all of our models being exported and available everywhere via this index file in the models folder. Then what else did I do in my mad panic to get this stream up and running? We're using NextJS, aren't we? So don't need to have a API. I don't have to create a separate API. I can use some serverless functions available inside of NextJS, which is one of the benefits of using this framework. So when you create your boilerplate NextJS project structure, you get an API folder, and usually there's a hello.js inside of it with a scaffolding code. And I've just renamed it to be index because at the moment that's going to be the only thing inside of it. And it's going to have all of our endpoints and our routes to our database. So we're going to have a get request to get all of our messages and a post request to post messages to our database. I copied this code from a previous project. So if you're probably thinking, get collection, what? I copied this code from a previous project. We'll explain it all a bit later. Don't worry about the post. In fact, let me comment out the post request because we're not ready to be posting anything yet. But we are interested in getting things. So in my mad haste to get this up and running, I put 2 standard messages in my database. And we are going to concentrate on the get part. So we're going to try and get those messages out of the database and display them in our guestbook. And then together we'll post it. We'll do the post request afterwards together. Because I've started doing the get request to make sure everything was up and running. So in our little tiny serverless API that we have got one get request. Everything's in a switch statement because it's really simple. We're going to have our basic basic CRUD. So get, post, delete, patch. And I'll just put them in a switch statement because it makes things a little bit simpler than having to write separate endpoints for everything. So it'll just be one endpoint and you put in the method get, post, delete, patch, what have you. And we write some clever logic to determine which collection in our database we want to connect to. At the moment, I've just hard-coded guestbook. We've got a guestbook collection. So that is what I did really quickly. Oh, and I created a page called guestbook. Guess what it's going to be showing? Our guestbook. So remember at the end of last week's stream, someone asked, might have been you, Tony, someone asked what we're going to be doing next. And I said, creating a guestbook. I didn't put any effort into it. I just said it. Let's create the guestbook. And I kind of forgot about it. But yesterday I was at a function. I was at a traditional West Indian function. And at the end of these types of functions, we like to pass around a guestbook so everyone can sign and leave messages. And I was like, well, isn't this a sign that I should definitely be creating that guestbook today? So here we are, creating that guestbook. And that function yesterday reminded me all about that. So, as I've already written some code, let me commit my changes. Oh, what else did I forget to tell you? We've added some more dependencies. This is all related to the database and our serverless functions. So I've added the mongoDB dependency, mongoose, and Axios, because I love using Axios to make fetch requests, to make requests. It's less writing of code, and I will never, ever remember off the top of my head how to do a fetch. And Axios makes it simpler for me. And because last week I explained that I'm a massive fan of absolute imports, absolute imports and module path aliases, I've added a utils, which is where my database connection function is in, and models. So that I don't have to care about relative paths anymore. I could just go import file name from models, whatever the name of the file. Makes life easier for my very forgetful brain. So let's commit these quick changes I've made. So chore, add dependencies. And then let's say we added our DB schemas, so we know what the shape of our database, our document in each collection should look like. And then I'm gonna sneak this in. Should I put it in? Nah, forget it. I'll sneak it in here, it's fine. DB connection and our API stuff. So I'm gonna be basic API setup. We'll call it API setup. And then finally, we're gonna have guestbook set up. Guestbook setup. Guestbook. Yeah, setup. Let's call it that. And I didn't add you. Cool. Publish that branch and forget all about that. Whew. So we have got a guestbook page. Right now it's just got our header. Let's open that page up and add a little bit more so you can see. Let's add a title to it saying guestbook. I accidentally imported something that I shouldn't have. That was my VS Code being a little bit too smart for itself. So we have got a title on our page called guestbook. And if you look closely to the console log, you'll see that I'm logging something out. And so object's got data in it, a status. This looks like it's some type of fetch. And that's because when I went to see if everything was up and running, and that I had my database connection working end to end, so front end working, back end, so serverless functions working, and was actually connecting to the database, I created a very quick fetch to fetch the messages that I put in to the database for 2 messages that I inserted already, and just do a console log of the results. So let's dig into that object actually that we're getting back. So we've got some config, we've got our headers, the request that we've made, the status text. What I'm interested in is data. So inside data is an object, and we have data again. So we've got, this is really meta, we've got an object called data, and inside of it, it's got an array called data. And then we have a bit of object, a key, and it's got a boolean called success, and so the boolean is true or false. So in this case, our connection is successful. We have found our 2 messages, and now we can do something with them. And in our messages, we have got our name, the actual message, which I've just taken from Cupcake Ipsum. If you don't know about Cupcake Ipsum, get to know it. It is my favorite Lorem Ipsum website, because everyone loves cupcakes. And then the name. So the first message is from me, and our second message is from Jane. So let's get those, shall we? I've already set up some use state so we can capture, hey Michael, so we can capture our messages. It's updates, plural. I had message before, that implies there's only one message. We have more than one. Let's change it to messages. And let's call set messages and pass in results.data. So just to remind you, results is this whole object, and inside of it, we've got data. We've got data again. So you know what? Instead of going results.data, because how ugly is that? How about we be a bit extra and destructure. So that's results. Then we got data. Then we got data again. Let's check out that console log, see if that works. Because yep. Comment you out so you don't complain. The bottom and yay. Data. So we did structured data here. And then the structured data again here. I want to get this second data, this array of data out. Let me refresh the page. Hey Charlene, or should I be using your actual tag? I always forget. I'm like, do I say your real name and like at you in public, or do I just say your tag? I never know. You got to tell me which one you want me to use. Your actual real name or your internet name. Or we can just make something up. Make up a brand new name for you. How about that? I've got a really bad habit of putting like bottles and stuff right in front of my monitor and then be like, oh, I can't see what's in front of my monitor because I put things in front of it. What's wrong with me? What am I doing in destructuring? Matt, you know what? This level of destructuring will work. We've got one level of data out. That's good enough. Data. Oh, we're going to combine your name, Charlene, apparently. Charlene, affirmed visionary. Affirmed Charlene visionary? No, hang on. I'm distracting myself. This is why That's why I shouldn't look in the chat. That's why I shouldn't look in the chat, because I just get distracted and I'm like, now I'm going to rename everyone and rename everything. Anyway, we're here. Data. So we've set messages to be data. Let's display them, shall we? So we've got messages. Empty array is the default state. Fine. So if messages.length, if you're wondering why I went and checked what the default state is because whatever the default state is dependent on what the condition is. If this was null, I wouldn't do messages.length because null won't have a length. Because it's an empty array, I could do check for the length of the array. If it's greater than 0, then we want to do something. So in this case, what should we do? Let's put the person's name to start with in a p tag. Now what we're doing, we're going to loop because it's an array. Of course, it's an array. Messages.map. Singular will be message. In a p tag. Get message dot name. Of course you need a key. Apologies, I forgot. Here we go. Put message. Oh no, it's message. And look, we got someone's name. We've got 2 people's names. Alright, if this message is gonna bug me, I'm gonna destructure from here. We wanna get the name out. We wanna get message. Because I am not doing message. I'm already doing data. There we go. That works just the same. And then let's get the message out as well. Why not? Let me just message. Yay, sweet. Let's put the name afterwards. Let's put a div. Put the key on the div. Lovely. How dare you, Michael? I always get stuff right on live coding. You weren't here an hour ago when I was getting nothing right on live coding, and I was like, I've got to delay this live by 30 minutes because I can't copy and paste a simple connection string, and I keep getting the database name or my password incorrect. I was like, I can't show that. I can't be showing passwords incorrect on live stream. Let's delay that. And how dare you? What's up, Olivia? How's it going? Happy lunchtime. Alright, so we've got our messages. I think that's good enough. I think we can say goodnight. I'm joking. So we have some messages that's coming from the database, which is lovely. We're making a fetch up here. And we're setting them in state. Good. Let's actually give people an opportunity to leave a message, not just have the hard-coded ones from the database. Sorry, the persistent ones from the database. So let's make a form. Actually give this bit a title because I will forget and be like, what are these messages down here about? Yeah, lovely messages. Yeah. Cool, lovely. So up here, let's create a form, maybe? Yeah. So that you can leave me a message. I'm going to put my on submit from now because I will forget if I don't. And I'm just going to put a console log. So this is my placeholder for when I'm like, oh, but my submission is not working. Like, yeah, because you did actually write the functionality, did you? You are submitting. Okay, so inside of our form, we're going to need 2 inputs. Right, inputs. Are you self-closing inputs? Right. How does the HTML input work? Does anyone remember? Input. Got a really sticky keyboard as well. HTML. So you are self-closing. I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to say the types required as well. Where did I put that console log? I did not end that string. And no one told me. I didn't close it. Wow. And I'm missing the bracket. There we go. I need to have a label. How do the inputs work in HTML? It's really not. Basic HTML really stumps me. Basic HTML and CSS, I'm like, what? How does this work? How is this? For years, my go-to like search, Google search was how to center a div. For absolute years. Yeah, React HTML4. Okay, so we got one input. And I can type. Cool. Let's make another input for the actual message. ID for message. My name is message. You know this name equals name. I see it's confused so many people. Maybe the name attribute should be changed to something else, because I see this confuse so many people when they're learning about HTML. Okay, so we have got a name input, message input. We need a button. We need a button. And the type's going to be submit, because we got a form which is going to have an onSubmit function or event handler. Submit your message. Submit your message. Oh, that required works. Look at that. How lovely. And the page refresh, because we are using React and we have an event and we need to prevent the default behavior happening. So let's do that up here. Come on. Yay! And look, getting a console log when we submit. You are submitting. Cool. Love that. So let's actually, so when we submit, let's do something with it. Let's not let it just wander off into the middle of nowhere. Let's start off by saving it in state, because this is React. So create a new bit of state. I'm going to call it user message, just to give it a slightly different name for messages. Set user message, and it's going to be, that's not a U, it's going to be an object. I'll put, by default, make you an empty object. So I'm going to update this console log first off to see what we are getting in the event. Let's see if we are capturing, what's it, name and message in the event. Let's take a look. Let's type something in, name and message. So in the form, I see name. Event dot name. Let's see. I never remember how to do forms. Never, ever, ever. Oh, after seeing your message, Michael. Yeah, one's a key and one's a value. But if you don't understand the concept of key and value, and you just see name equals name, you might think that name always equals name. And especially depending on how you're taught it. So if you're coming across HTML before you come across a programming language, and you're just seeing, especially on the interwebs, we just see examples, you constantly see name equals name. You might always think that name is always assigned the value of name. I don't think the internet does a really good job of explaining this. is what I'm trying to say. I think that's what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm saying. The internet doesn't do a great job of explaining this, which leads to confusion, and which leads to often seeing this ID could be, I don't know, green makeup brush. I'm just looking at my desk. What random things does Tanya have on her desk? Always look at my code, because I name my variables and stuff after what's in my environment. Straw. You see things like this. So if I get the ID part correct, but then I'm like, but your name is still name. They're like, yeah, name is name. And I'm like, no. Actually, no, that's not correct. Anywho, back to whatever I was doing before. Yeah, making this form. So when I submit, I want to get, what's the value? What value do I get out when I submit? In fact, submit all of you. Undefined as what I thought. We have a look at the entire event. Let's look at this massive object. Target is form. Import, we've got name. And then we've got message. So we can get the name out. So if I go name value. So I see something. Michael, no shade. Why are you finding shade? I'm saying people in general. I'm not talking about particular people. I'm generalizing here. This is positive vibes in this space. We are only positive on this channel, sir. No shadiness. I leave my shadiness from Monday to Thursday. On Fridays, it's good vibes only. Until Friday night starts. We go back again. I've distracted again. Right, let's see this entire object. We've got target. It's a form. And then we've got 3 things inside of our form. Our 2 inputs and our button. Input, we can see we've got an ID called name. It's the ID maybe I can get it from. Nah, I want to get it from the name attribute. Let's do it correctly. Can I see the name attribute? Where are ya? Name equals name. So let's update our console to be name. Target. Right, it's not target.name. If I submit you now, it's just getting that one. And if I do another one for target.message, that's not going to work, is it? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Why do I not know basic HTML? Why do I not know basic HTML? Give me something complicated. I'm like, yeah, got it. Cool. Can figure this out. HTML, I'm like, nah. You what? What? You got a day off on Monday, Shah? I can give you some work if you want. I can, let me know. I can give you plenty of stuff to do if you want. There's always work for you available. So we got that. So I get the target, I get the message. So I could do something. So I want to set my user message state to be whatever's coming from the inputs. So let's call set user message. And it's an object. And we're going to want you. So this will be the name. So I'm setting the object here, I'm setting the key value. and getting the name out. So it will be name for this one. That'll be event.target dot name. Not the value, sorry. Like the value out of the input. And then for the second property or key value pairing in the object, it will be event.target.message. That's the name that I want to be in the key, and the value be e.target.value. And then in this user effect up here, I'm going to keep an eye on user message just so we can see if we're capturing it correctly. And I'm going to have a console.log down here to see what user message is. And hopefully when we submit, user message will update and we'll see it in the console. So cool, our console at the moment, we've got an empty object. If I enter, I'm going to put affirmed visionary. Oh, I can't spell. Affirmed visionary. Hey, how are ya? Submit the message, and we have got an object in the user message, just not the object that I was hoping for. So let's modify that. So I'm putting the entire HTML element as the key. We don't want that. So let's not do that. So do not message dot if I do name.name, and if I do message.name, so I'm getting the target, this is the ID, and then this is the name attribute. Right? Yeah, okay. Oh, you gotta love a nested object. Submit again. Okay, so we're getting the keys correct now. So we got name, we got message. Great, great, great. Now we just need to get the value out. And I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like I need... Are we not getting if I do name dot value, what do I get in this console? Submit your message. Aha. So it's not name. It's e.target.name.value. e.target.message.value. And if we submit again, finally in our user message object, we get in our name, affirmed visionary, and our message, hey, how are ya? Whew, that was something. But we got there eventually. So now we have got our message stored in our user message state. I guess we should send it over to a database, right? Or actually, before we even do that, let's display it amongst the rest of our messages. So in our lovely messages. So in our user effect, I'm going to say if user message. So don't forget, in the user effects, we're keeping an eye on our user message. So I'm going to change the default state from being an empty object to being null. So if we have anything, if our user effect, so user message is not null, so it's actually defined, then we are going to add this new message to our existing array of messages. So we call set messages, and we're going to have, should we put it at the beginning or the end? Let's put it at the top. We'll have our new user message, and then we'll put the rest of our existing messages underneath. Why not? And before you start complaining, there you go. There you go. No. Loop, look at that. Oh, no. It's continuously checking for user message. We just delete that quickly so it stops breaking, and then we fix it afterwards. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Because you're always null. We'll sort out the dependencies afterwards. So let's put affirmed visionaries message back. Visionary. Hey. Oh, has my key got there? I've got a really sticky keyboard. I spilt adult beverages on my keyboard, and now a bunch of keys are really sticky. So my keyboard doesn't like to work very well anymore. And annoyingly, it's a brand new keyboard. It's a brand new keyboard. So I might have to like dig out some of the keys and do some proper cleaning. That might be an Easter treat for myself. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, because we're not keeping an eye on user message in our use effect. And to put you back, put our message back. Let me zoom in. Can anyone actually see this? Oh, is it not working? 100%. There we go. It's a little bit bigger. Affirmed visionary. Hey. Oh no, we shouldn't be using the Y key today. Cool. Got the memo. Don't use the Y key. Yay! That didn't work. I didn't actually put the message down here. Let's put a console log in for messages as well. Let's clear this so we don't get confused. Submit your message, and it's still an array of 2 things. One object, 2 object, use the message. Oh, do we need the ID? We need the ID. Nah, be fine. Set messages is not updating. Why are you not updating? What are we doing wrong, huh? What are we doing incorrectly? Setting the user message. Let me move this console log for user message up here inside the if to make sure that it's actually defined. So if we have a user message, okay. We put messages back in. It shouldn't make a difference, but it's gonna cause a loop in it. Look at that. Oh, in the 2000s. No, messages keeps changing because we are making this fetch. Yeah. Oh, it worked. Just one too many times. Stop. Looping. My God. Stop. And that's how you cause an infinite loop. And now I can hear my poor fan going off. Oh my gosh, just stop the app. Stop, you app. That's what happens when you cause an infinite loop. And we're still looping. And I can hear my fan. Uh-oh. Are we still looping? Yep, we're still looping. And... Okay, you're down. It's gonna let the laptop calm down a little bit. It's actually ramping up more. Okay, up and running again. Start you. Are we still causing the loop? No, we're not. Okay. Affirmed visionary. Hey, with one Y because keyboard doesn't like it when I try to do multiple today. Hey, how are ya? Submit. Oh! It came up really quickly. It came up really quickly and then disappeared. Did anyone see that? Let me do it one more time. Really quickly and then disappeared. Our state is changing. So it is actually setting messages and adding it to it, but we are calling get messages again. So we need to call get messages only if our messages is an empty array. So let's do that. If messages.length equals 0, empty array, then we call get messages. Ta-da! Let me refresh the page. Do it one more time. Affirmed visionary. Hey, with one Y. How are ya? Submit. And look, it works. Yay! Exciting stuff. So here's the thing. We're now getting in state. If I refresh the page, that message is gone. We want to keep this persistent. How do we keep data persistent? Database. So let's put this, when a user submits a message, let's put it into the database. Let's start off by creating a handle submit function. Const, we'll call it handle submit. That's not how you do that thing. There we go. And I'm going to move all of this that's in this on submit to be inside the handle submit. So I'll just call that instead. So we're going to need an event. I'll call it E, too lazy. We're going to pass in our event to our handle submit. And all of this in this function body here, in this anonymous function body, I'm going to move to be inside of handle submit. Like that. Now let's check things are working correctly. I'm going to use Tony as an example. Cool, so handle submit works as expected so far. So our little quick creating of the handle submit function still works. Everything's working as we did before. And then we now want to handle submit. What else do we want to do? So we're setting the user message. Lovely. We now want to call the database. Call the post request to submit to the database. Let's check in our little API if we have a post request. So we've got a get. And we have a commented out post request. And it's commented out because I copied it from somewhere else. So I'm going to put in our model, which is guestbook. That is our model. We get rid of this console log, don't need that anymore. And when we do the post request, we're going to create a new guestbook schema. We create a new guestbook document, which is going to have our name and message inside of it. We're going to pass it to the database. And if it's successful, we're going to return a 201 and the object saying success is true, and also give back the data that we've inserted. Because why not? Why not? So let's give that a go. Now we are using Axios to do our fetches, like up here. So let's make handle submit asynchronous. In fact, so that we can await for our post request to come back and return something to us. So we're going to, after we have set a user message up here, we might do this before, and if this is successful, then course set user message. We'll think about the order afterwards. Let's just get this done first. So we've got post. I'm not making a get request now, we're making a post request, and we want to pass in our object. Now I can never remember. Does I just pass in the whole object like that? Let me go to the Axios website. Axios post request example. Got a get. I want post. Yep, I can just pass in the object right here that I want to pass in. And the object's actually going to be the same shape as our user message. So I will tell you what I'll do. Because this object's going to be used in set user message and also in our request, put it in a variable. Put it in a variable because it's going to be reused. I'll call it message. It's the object. It is all of this. Cut you. Because I copied the brackets. La 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 la. For the pass message here, we pass message here. Do we want to get the response back? Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's make sure we get the response back. post message. I'm going to get a console log for the post message just to make sure everything's running as expected. Make sure we're happy with all of that. So. Let's get up our little Mongo extension now. We have got 2 documents at the moment. If we submit now and our fetch is successful, we should see 3 documents. Let's see what happens. I'm going to refresh the page because we've got multiple messages from Tony as we were playing about. Let's have only one. How is ya? And submit. Oh, we got another message. We've done something wrong. We made a bad request. What did we do? What did we do? So, in our API, let's go to our API. Let's see up here. Let's see if we're actually passing through a body. Let's do a console log for body. And submit Tony's message. How is ya going? So, we are not getting that body through. We put a message here so no. Post request. Yeah, we're definitely not getting that body coming through. Really, how is ya? Yeah, we're not getting that body. So if we go back to our guestbook, we're not getting this object coming through. Let's go back to the, oh, I closed it. Let's go to Axios docs again. Axios post request. Example. Post request body. Yeah, that'll do. Sure, let's go with the top one. Let's zoom in so we can all see. Hey, Tony. Do I have to put it in data? We're not forgetting the whole object. Do you know what I'm going to do? Out of sheer laziness, I'm just going to go and look at an example. Oh, like right here. Just going to go look at something that I did before. Now, where did I do you? That sounds so wrong. Axios.post. I've got to put unit object. Put unit object and your data like that. Cool. So I couldn't just pass in my user object. I actually had to put it in an object and assign the body to assign the user message to a data key. Right. So if I press submit your message now, we don't get an error message. Lovely. And we do get that console log from the API. The we don't get post request. Hey, hang on. I'm not getting you. Fine. This is 201 in guestbook on line 41. Oh, yay! We get this console log. So it was successful. We getting a 201 back. And in data, we get Tony's message. Lovely. Now, if we go to Mongo, our Mongo extension, and refresh, we got 3 documents. Boom. Lovely. And now if I refresh the page, let's see if we got our persistency. We got our persistency. There we go. We got a brand new message. That is you. That is you. I'm going to go into the database afterwards or make a put request and put your full name in this message so you cannot deny it. And I'm going to put all your handles too. It's definitely you. So amazing. We have now got, we can submit messages and submit and goes through to our database and we can display it. And this is exciting times. I am going to update the order though of when we call this. So if our post message is successful, we don't get an error message, then I want to display it on the front end. Because right now, as soon as you press submit, we are showing this message on the front end. But there could be a problem. It might not actually go to the database and you need to submit it again. So let's do that. Do you know what? I was really considering this morning. I was like, should I make you have to log in with social? I'm like, oh, it's so nice and simple to do it with Firebase. I was like, should we do it? I was like, all right, we'll keep it simple for now. Keep it simple for today. Maybe next week we get excited and be like, you know what? I want your social login details. You got to log in through GitHub, Twitter, TikTok, whatever's available to me. I want all your information because we love data around here. So maybe in the next evolution of our guestbook, we'll have some social login happening. But for now, for the basicness, we'll keep it like this. Alright, so when we call post message, so when we submit, what do we get in our post message object again? Who can we use? Alright, Tony, I'm going to put your full name. Nah, I'm joking. I can't do that on the internet. Does it expose your full name like that? Let's give me a new name. As much as I'm really, really over this story, I'm going to use Chris Rock because his name is in my head. Alright, Tony, you'll see what have you started now because now we get asked. I want to know how to do social login. Tony, should we do it together? Maybe. You let me know when you're free and maybe we'll do it together for everyone. That would be fun. We can go back to our old pair programming, which is basically you doing the work and me just talking. And you're like, patiently just listening. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Not about code. I'm just babbling on. And you were doing the work. We should go back to that. Chris Fox message. I just got slapped in public. Poor guy. I actually feel bad for him. Alright, so Chris, submit your message. What do we get back in post message? We get config, data, headers, request, status text. I'm going to use status. If we get back a 201, then we call set user message. If we don't, then we show an error message saying something didn't happen. Can you please resubmit your message? Something like that in better English, So if post message dot status code, just status actually, equals 201, then we call set user message. Else, I'll just do a console.error for now. And at some point we'll add it to the UI to actually show. to stop and make the user have to resubmit. Else it didn't work, bruh. That'll do. Get rid of his console log. Oh wow, Chris, you got slapped a lot, didn't you? And let's put a message from Will in response. Will Smith. Yeah, I slapped him. There you go. Have we got a loop going on? Why is this happening so much? We must do. Alright, fine. So Will's replied, rude. Yeah, I slapped him. Fine. So now we have got a few messages coming up. That's lovely. And we didn't get, so we must have got a 201 when we just submitted Will's message, because we called set user message. And if we remember, if we go back up to the use effect, if user message is no longer null, then we console log the user message, which I think we saw, maybe not, I've refreshed it all. And then we call set messages and add that new message to it. So we've got something working now. Look at that. That is a little something. We've got the very basics of a guest book. Should we style it? It's looking a bit plain, isn't it? Should we style it? Yeah, let's do some. We've got 13 minutes. Let's do some very quick styling. All right. We've got styled components already installed. Don't forget, we are using that because my brain can't process another framework to learn. Let's have a name. And what you styled paragraph tag. And just make the font rate bold. Font rate bold. I didn't make designs for this, which is why I'm just making it up on top of my head. Let's see if you work. Label message with names down here. Name. Yep, you're now bold. And let's make message what should we do to the message? Should we make it, let's make the color, what colors do we have in the theme again? Theme, what colors do we have? Let's make it dark turquoise. So that's the color. Right, props equals props dot theme dot dark turquoise, and put you down to messages. Where are you? Down here. And I've done that wrong. We're not getting that color coming through. Dot colors. There we go. So the message is in this turquoise-ish color. The name is in bold. I want to move the name to the right hand side and have a hyphen at the beginning of it. Let's do that. Oops. Let's do that. Back backticks. Backticks. Nope. You want dash, and wrap U in brackets. All the brackets. All the brackets. There we go. So let's turn this div into a style component so that we can make const. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna call it message wrapper equals styled div. I don't want it to be so wide. Although we do have a grid on our layout. Okay, no. We do have a grid we made last week, but it's on our layout branch, which we haven't finished and we haven't merged it in yet. So we'll just hard code for width for this now. So we want to have it at 80%, and I'm going to make it flex, and I'll show you why in a sec. So let's turn that div into our message wrapper. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then there's flex. Flex direction to be column. And then on message, I want it to be on the, get my left and right one, right hand side. So is it justify self or align self? Let's go justify self. Let's try that first. Flex end. So it's not justify self. Are you align self? Oh, I put it on message. I meant to put it on name. There we go. Look at that. And then, oh, I want it to be horizontally centered as well. So let's do that on the wrapper. So you want it to be justify content center. Okay, you didn't work. Let's just inspect in the flex thingy majiggy. And it's align items. There we go. Not justify content, it's align items. Like that. And then we want it. Actually, wait, hang on. I need to put this flex. I need to make everything centered on the parent, not on message wrapper. What is the parent? Nothing, your fragment. I want it to be around here. I'll make it style component container. Container doesn't exist. I know. We're gonna make it now. Equals styled dot div. Gotta copy you. Gonna copy you. Gonna copy you. And boom. That's all I need. That is what I was looking for. And then maybe between each message, we have a bit of margin, top and bottom. And the border. Margin, top and bottom, let's hard code it to be 32 pixels each way. And border, 1 pixel, solid. What other colours did we have in our theme? Let's use yellow and see what happens. Props equals props the theme dot colors with an S at the end and yellow. Sure, man, perform a full refresh. There we go. We have got a really, really basic, really, really quick guest book. I think we are getting somewhere. I think that'll do for now. I think that'll do for today. And let me put a message above this form. Where is that form? Up here. Put the paragraph yeah. Leave me a message. Lovely, 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 lovely. I think we have got the very basics of a guest book. And it is going straight to a database, it's persistent, and we didn't have to create a whole API to do it. Serverless functions, I love them so much. Look at that. One function instead of creating an entire API. Not too bad, not too shabby. And we've got 2 minutes to spare. Cool. Next week, I have no idea what we're going to build, but I will be back here 12 till 2, continuing to work on this portfolio website. And on that note, I'm going to take a break and maybe have a nap because today is my actual day of work. So I'm going to chill. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you same time next week. And I will remember to actually be off mute at the beginning of the video. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you next week.